Hello there, digital peeps at YouTube's mkgtweety, and how are we doing today? Um, I did have big, huge redness on my face. Like I had a bump here and stuff from me picking, what I don't normally have on my face. And I just decided for this video, and when I was taking the photo, it was like you could see it, and it was just like, I don't want this, so I was putting makeup on, and then when I took the photo, it looked a little too orange, or too yellow, because I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, so I kind of like had to redo it, kind of tone it down a little bit. So I think we've achieved that. Um, Excuse me, had an itch. I know what's going on in the world. Um, it's gonna be a little family update, but also, uh, I know who's passed away, and I don't condone that kind of stuff. Never have, never will. I think to find somebody's language so horrific to you that you needed to take him out because you didn't like something that he said or the words that he was using out of his mouth, shame on you. And I think that, let me back that up a little bit. This guy didn't like what he said. And it's because he was getting into, the dark side, as I affectionately going to call it, of people telling him, look how bad the right is. Look how bad the truth telling people are. And they were essentially brainwashing him into thinking that those kinds of people were like so evil in this world when they weren't. Um, I watched Charlie just out of curiosity because I'm somebody that likes to look at left and right and then form my own opinion in the middle. And I loved his debates with college kids because it seemed to me that these college kids were so clueless. And then when he's spitting facts or spitting what he knows of, when I saw this and I thought, wow, I'm somebody that wants to sit down and have a pleasant discussion with you. We can agree to disagree, and that's fine. Um, we might not always understand, but at least we can agree to disagree, kind of thing. And I would watch his channel sometimes out of curiosity, to see what he would have to say. I did watch his wife. I saw her speech because it was like, I'm clicking the channels around and, oh, his wife's going to speak, his wife's going to speak. And I love that when she said, oh, you think I'm done because you did this to my husband? She's like, oh, hell no. It's 2:30 in the morning on 9/13, 2025 is when I'm filming this. And it was my clock you heard binging, so please excuse that. Bings every hour, bings every half hour. So I'm sorry you had to hear that in this video. Um, and she was kind of like, oh, hell no, basically. And my heart breaks for her children because when her daughter grows up, um, and she wants to say someday get married. Not everyone wants to get married, we know that, but I'm just saying, when she finds the one and he puts a ring on it, and she's gonna want someone to walk her down the aisle. Who's that gonna be? Well, it would have been Dad, but now it's not because he took away that person. All these things that little girls. My dad's like the best dad ever. Even when I was teeny little, he was always there. Even though he played a lot with his bands, he's a drummer, and he played a lot with his bands. He'd always come home, and the first thing he would do was give me and my mom a hug and kiss and told us we love us. And then I had the fortunate privilege to be his roadie. I helped him set up and tear down his drums when he was playing with the folks. 5 o'clock world, turn around, look at me, all that kind of stuff. You might have heard it on Joe Carey. Well, it's a 5 o'clock world and a whistle. I love my dad. I love when we get to cook together. I just, my dad's like the best thing ever. And now their daughters, or I should say, his daughter and son will grow up not knowing who their dad was. They'll know their dad was a champion of, faith and the truth and all this kind of stuff. And, as Dr. Phil says, the best kind of role model for your child is the same sex parent. And for his son, that would be his father, and for his daughter, that would be his mother. And I think that, he's not going to grow up knowing his dad. He's not going to have that role model in his life to learn how to be a man, per se. His mother can teach him that somewhat. But, when you lose your dad, it's just like, well, who am I going to play ball with? And, to do guy stuff sometimes. You know? And shame on the man that did it. He's a coward. I think he's a coward. I don't, you don't, just because you hate somebody that much, you want to take out his ass. No, no. I commend the shooter's father for turning him in. Comes from a nice family, and it was just like, these people were brainwashing him into thinking all this stuff, but my heart goes out to his wife Erica and their 2 children. If I could give her a hug and the children a hug, I would, if I could. I know he wasn't a fan favorite with everybody, but he was very nice to people and having civilized conversation. So, I just wanted to give you my thoughts and feelings and all that kind of stuff. I thought he was a nice guy. I just, I'd watch his channel out of curiosity because I was wondering what his takes on things were. Like I said, I look at things from left and right, and then I form my own opinion. And all that kind of stuff. So, he just seemed interesting in what he had to say. That's all I'll say. Excuse me, I burped. Excuse me, I take a little bit of my water here. Alright, well, we're going to get on to me, my mom, and my dad, because it's a little bit of family update. Because my mom got her test results in for her stuff. For her multiple myeloma, because I think it was last week on Wednesday. That would have been... I think it was the 3rd. Oh no, or was it the 10th? Somewhere around that time. Guy comes in, takes mom's blood. We'll start with my mom first. Because she has multiple myeloma, which is a treatable type of bone marrow cancer. There is a fly going around. So if you saw that buzzing around my face, sorry about that. Sometimes you just get flies stuck in the house, and you just want to have a bzzz. The numbers, her point values have gone up. She was at a 3 the last time we had spoke. Now she's at a 5. And, it's not enough for chemo yet. Because I said, gotta have the antennae up. And we still need to have the antennae up. This cancer will go up and down and things. It's one of the things, it's not if she'll need more chemo, to when she'll need more chemo. So it's at levels that we need to be. We have to have our antennae up, but it's not levels to where she needs chemo yet. She's scared or nervous about that again, but I documented it all on my Instagram. I talk about like what was going on with my mom and all this kind of stuff in real time, and then I would come over here onto YouTube and kind of, every so often would make a video about it. Um, you know, her knees are still hurting her. She can't stand long. I say your knees are like this, hers are like this, and you're wondering how she's still walking, talking, and standing. And, she can't stand long on her knees, otherwise, like, her knee feels like it's gonna give out and stuff like that when I help her go to the bathroom and things like that. If she sits too long, say, like, she's sitting down somewhere and she's sitting too long, her tailbone will hurt because she has a little bit of arthritis back there. But once she kind of lays down and puts, like a heating pad on and or an ice pack or try to do that hot cold thing, she's feel a little better. She has her good days and bad days. When it's really humid out, it affects the joints, so she's a little bit more hurty on days. But she takes it day by day, and her A1C, which is what they check for in diabetics and stuff, it's under 7. It's just at 6. Um, and things like that. Um, so that part's okay. Um, but like I said, she's at a 5. In terms of point values, it's like a 0.5. And when I have the antennae up, so her numbers are slowly creeping up there, but it's not enough to have chemo yet. Like I said, it's not if, but when she'll need more chemo. But my mom's upstairs right now, and she's going to bed, she's sleeping, she's resting comfortably, so she's doing okay. We'll get to my dad. My dad started his kick-ass PT place. We're charging him $30 for copay, but that's insurance for your ASS. Um, the back doctor that did his surgery said that if this kick-ass PT isn't going to do what it needs to do, then we need to talk about going to a neurologist. Because it's his legs and ankles that are still sort of weak. And he thought by now he would be, I'm going to say he's 95% there. Okay, the other 5% is still the weakness and still the whatever. So he feels great. It's just he'll get up and, takes him a couple tries to kind of get up because of the balance. Or he'll start walking like a crotchety old drunk man. You know, um, and all that kind of stuff. And he uses his walker, uses his cane to help get around and stuff. Um, but, he's going to PT once a week. And they're basically kicking his ass. Kicking his ass. And, if this doesn't work after a while, because sometimes back surgeries take a while to heal. And, he was told 3 to 6 months of this, and then you should be fine. So the doc wants him to do the kick-ass PT first. And then if that doesn't do anything, then we have to go to a neurologist because maybe he has a balance issue in his brain or something along those lines that's causing him to act like that. Let's see, what else? Trying to think, is there anything else going on with my dad? I mean, he can drive. He can do all that kind of stuff. Um, and he's trying to get better. His bed's still here because he still needs his bed. He doesn't feel like he is ready to like graduate from that. I mean, he's upstairs chillaxing with my mother. You know, they like to cuddle, snuggle time, that kind of stuff. Because mom and dad had their anniversary on August 17th, their 44th wedding anniversary. They've known each other 46 years. And then 2 years later, they got married because he put a ring on it on August 17th of 81 because he liked it. And he wanted to show the world that he wanted to put a ring on it. And then 2 years later, in April of 83, I was born. So we had like a roast beef dinner. We had a garden spinach gratin recipe. We had this one salad that I found in my new Betty Crocker cookbook. It's like an all-purpose book. And it had this like really good, interesting, you know, like with this cranberry dressing. You use that jellied cranberry stuff in a can. And, you know, it had orange juice, and there was celery in the salad, and there was brie cheese, and there was apple, and it was interesting. We had rolls on the side, crescent rolls to be exact. We had Italian green beans. I bought a piece of beef from Tim's Club, and I roasted it really nice, and it was great because that's all they wanted was to spend time at home, just the three of us, because I'm an only kid. So, um, I got them the new air fryer toaster oven because we need to upgrade our toaster, and we love it. So if you saw my Instagram, you saw if which is at mkgtweety, by the way. You saw I post vlogs and hauls and all that. That's like my second channel, basically, my Instagram. So if you follow me over there, that's more up to date. You know what's going on, all this kind of stuff. Just posted my weekly vid already, so it's probably go up in a couple days. You know, I'll probably get next week's video up, and then this. So, um, you know, that's you know, it was just a nice little fancy Sunday dinner for my parents celebrating 44 years of wedded bliss, and they're still crazy about each other as ever. And you know, when you've been married that long and been together that long, you know, you want your buddy to sleep with. And my mom's bestie is my dad, and that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's just he's a good snuggle partner, and you know, he comes up and watches TV with my mom, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Um, let's see. So now we'll get to me, because that's why you're here, to know about mkgtweety. You can find I posted a new flashback or Friday photo. It's my 5th grade school photo. You can go check that out on my Instagram if you want to. You can, I have a Pinterest, Tumblr, Wattpad, Twitter, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, all the moniker mkgtweety. If you follow me here on YouTube, it's mkgtweety. I had, if you saw the video before this, I have a preschool curriculum board on my Pinterest, which is pinterest.com/mkgtweety. And there's a board on the left, one in the middle, and then one on the right. The one on the right with the colored pencil picture is that board. So if you go to the video before this and you go in the info box, it's the link to the boards right there. I'm a trained babysitter, preschool teacher, nanny. I took 4 years of vocational childcare, all 4 years I was in high school. And we had a preschool that would come to our program. And so I actually have on the site training, because we are trained how to be preschool teachers, how to teach preschool. We're trained to learn how preschool works, or how to work in a preschool, if you're just working in a preschool. I'm also trained to work in any daycare in the state of Pennsylvania, or any state licensed facility of that nature. in Pennsylvania because I live 3 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. That's where you don't need snow, but that's generally the area where I live at. And, we're taught, preschool curriculum and all this kind of stuff. And I just decided one day, a couple of years ago, that I was going to make my own because I wanted to be a preschool teacher. And I still am. I love the preschool age. You're 3 to 5. And 5 is what we call this matters not, but you're in preschool or you're in kindergarten. So, and I have a full set for younger preschoolers, which is early 3s, early 4-year-olds. And we have a set for your older preschoolers, which is late 4s, early 5s. We also have a set of 21 officers on the board, and we have 4 tests so you can test progress on colors, shapes, and numbers. We also have a couple of freebies on the board as well. We have 2 different kinds of diplomas for preschool. We have a happy birthday thing, so if a child has a birthday at your preschool or your daycare, you can go look, print that out, and then we have like a little like a few minutes 4 or less days and whatever. That's considered perfect attendance in my eyes. But if you watch the video, it's an hour and 4 minutes long. I know it's long, but it takes you through the board step by step, section by section, and you're able to see how to use the board, how to take things off. If you're a daycare, if you're a preschool teacher, or you teach at a daycare, or you're going to do homeschooling and you want a good preschool curriculum, it's free. I share it freely with the world. You can go check it out. And I show you how to take it off. I show you how to use it. Everything. If I could if I could make a booklet of it, that would be great. But I don't have that luxury, so I would and sell it. So, um, I want people to say, oh, I've been using a curriculum for so long that I need to change it up a little bit. 2025, 2026. But I want something new, or I want a new web page, or I want a new, teaching the letter Q page, or something. It's all there. So, I'm also going to be putting some classroom helpers on the board as well. That'll be later on, because if you watch the video, I'll show you a little preview, little sneak peekers of what's going to go on there in the future. I'm making like an alphabet train. We have our shapes and shape time. We have our numbers. We have our crayons in a crayon box kind of thing. And it's all going to be free. So you don't have to spend your money to go get a good quality preschool curriculum or that kind of stuff. Because those things can be, you might pay $10, $15, $25 for that stuff when you can get it off of me for free. I mean, isn't free what we want, digital peeps? So I'm just sharing my talent with the world. So, and all that kind of stuff. I'm doing great. I'm still, as you know, still on a health and fitness journey. Last year in February, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and it really rocked my world. Took a blood test and a doctor to wake my ass up. I was a fat, happy person, and you don't realize what being fat actually does to you inside. And my body was becoming angry, so angry, in fact, that it caused me to be a type 2 diabetic, like my father. He has that as well, and he's been diagnosed since his, I think, late 50s, I think it's been, something along those lines. He turned 75 in April, so his birthday is like 5 days after mine. So his birthday is April 26th. Mine's the 21st. Um, if you, like I said, if you want to follow me on my second channel, it's Instagram. You can follow for more updates there. I'm also posting on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and Blue Sky. So I'm also tweeting up a storm over there, tweeting Blue Sky and over there. All that, like I said, links in the description box below. And if you want to subscribe, if you like what you see and what I do, you can hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. And all this. And if you really, really, really like it, you can hit the thumbs up button. So, it's great. And I'm very proud of last video because I just, I was just so happy and thrilled with it. So, and I just, because I had originally made the video like in 2023, never posting it, and I thought, well, it's back to school, let me refresh my memory with it. And I was just like, what the hell did I make? Because I didn't go into detail on the board, I just kind of rushed through the video, and it just didn't sit well with me. And by the time I got to the middle of the video, I started having doubts. Should I make a new one? Shouldn't I? And by the end of the video, I was like, no, you gotta redo this, girl. So, yeah. I tweeted at the VMAs. So, I thought they were okay this year. You know, um, they were just, they're the VMAs. I mean, I voted, I did my thing. So, I watched that. I did all that. Um, let's see, what else? Um, yeah, I have a recent Amazon haul on there, so if you want to know what I got from Amazon, you can go check that out on my second, my Instagram, so you can check out that video. I got a Tweety shirt. It's just basically a yellow shirt with with the Tweety face on it, because that's my screen name, and I love the birdie, so been a fan for, since about 5th grade, I think. We had this art teacher, and he brought this art book, and he said, okay, pick a character and learn how to draw it. And I chose Tweety because I thought, okay, I can do this. And that's how long I've actually been a fan of Tweety. I love Tweety since before then, but once I started doing that, it was just like favorite Looney Tunes character heightened and all that. So if you see my mouse pad, my new mouse pad, it is Tweety galore with Tweety faces doing, Tweety expressions. And I have several ornaments of Tweety Bird. So, yeah. So, I love me Tweety Bird. Hence, screen name mkgtweety. So, anyway, I'm just putting it back, their little peeps. Fixing up my desk here. Okay. So, let's see, what else is going on with me? Mm, not much else, just trying to help out my mom and dad when they need help, because I'm like technically like a nurse around here. Because I say that, they have a hard time doing things because with my dad's surgery and how he's acting, and my mom all the time and all this. Um, when I met her cancer, it's multiple myeloma. It's, small. It started out as smoldering myeloma, and she had it 10, 15 years before it reared its ugly little head and all this. And, she just. And then once you get it, it's called multiple myeloma, so it's a treatable form of bone marrow cancer and all this. So she'll have it for the rest of her life. And it can go up and down. When it went to the treatable phase, it was like, it was stage 1 and all that. So she responded well to the treatment and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, she's feeling fine. She's not, all that kind of stuff. But yeah. So I'm gonna go digital peeps. That's a little bit of what's been going on recently with me and the fam. Um, my mom and my dad and all that. So, I'll smell you later, digital peeps. Like I said, if you want to follow me on my socials, I'll link the description box below. If you want to follow me on my second channel, basically it's Instagram. Instagram.com/mkgtweety. So, you can find me on my socials. So they'll be linked, like I said, in the description box. I'm gonna go. I'll smell you later. Um, bye. Love and lippy. Bye, digital peeps. Bye.